Hey everyone, we'll be starting shortly. I'm getting everything set up, so please bear with me as I do so. Alright, done there. Close these. Connection seems to be okay. I think we're good to go. So, hi everyone, welcome to another stream, and the first for this week. Today we are going to be continuing Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We had left off last time, trying to, well, figure out what happened. We were unable to explore the crime scene because of the police saying that we needed to have the representation papers. So we ended up having to go to the Lion Man, who was actually talking with Susato, and he was like, "Oh yeah, your ride will be here tomorrow to take you home." And then it was like, "Oh okay," and then, you know, we ended up going to speak to Gina. We had to have a discussion about the whole thing, like why wouldn't she let anyone represent her? She didn't trust anyone, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, you're stupid. And we're like, no, you're right. I will let you represent me. And that was it. Then we have those papers, and we're going to go see about the crime scene investigation and see what we can find. Yeah, that's everything. I was going to say something else, but I've forgotten what it was now. But yes, welcome. Hi, Ruffertron. Early scuff stream? No. It's around about the normal time. Title works. How strong hunt the lion man? Because he looks like a lion. And I'm pretty sure he has a lion emblem of some kind, but yeah. Without further ado, let us switch over to the game screen and begin and see what we can do today. Whee! I wonder how many times, like, this is going to be the fifth time that we're doing, like, investigations. We're never going to get to the trial at this point. Like, we're probably going to got, like, another 2 investigations, maybe, I'm guessing. And then we'll eventually get to the trial. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Woo! Right. So I put a little out of it. I'm, like, tired. I only recently woke up like 3 hours ago, something like that. I don't know. 2 hours ago. Right. Show up on their self speak to refresh stream as usual. It's always behind. About 20 minutes earlier than usual. It's not. It's literally like, again, the designating time is between 6 p.m. and he said 6 a.m. That'd be crazy. 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. It's just that last week I was consistently doing it around about 6:30, but usually it's around in these areas. So if it was like 20 minutes earlier than usual, it would be like before 6. Man, that would even be worse, I think. I was about to stop stream then for some reason. I'm like all over the place. Right, continue. Any game. Any key. Continue. Unspeakable Adventure Story. Part 4. Oh, we're immediately back here. Okay. 16th of April, 1:26 p.m. Winterbank's Pawnbrokery. Here we are again at the scene of the crime. Now to thrust these representation papers in Gregson's face and see what he makes of them. Hi. Hello again, Inspector. You have a minute, please? What is it now? You should go home and get some rest. Here you are, Gregsy. Here are the representation papers. Your ladyship! Oh! I don't believe it. How the devil did you get that stubborn little ragamuffin to sign that? I salute you. That is good work, that is. I can see you've been very busy here as well. How about some tea? It's a special blend designed to relieve fatigue. Even though I've said this before, I'm picking up again. Oh. Ah, lovely. Well, let's see now. Yes, yes. I hardly feel tired at all. I feel fit as a fiddle, your ladyship. Will it be alright if we investigate the scene of the crime then? Do as you please. You know where it happened? Through that door behind the counter. Yes, the storeroom. That's where I discovered Mr. Windybank and Gina. Right, well, I'll be getting back to business then. Will you be investigating the storeroom as well, Inspector? If I'm perfectly honest, we need to wrap this up before long. We can't afford to spend too much time on it. But there are so many articles to go through, it's taking forever, even with the lads working around the clock. Which is a problem, because there's another case the Yards needs to investigate urgently. That must be what Lord Strongheart meant by far more serious matters before. So what I'm saying is, don't get under my feet, Sunshine! Come on then, let's not waste any time. Sure, traitor. Who's gonna abandon me? Oh, okay, I guess I was just off the side there. Or I guess I won't look at it at all. That's a music box. Do you have one of them where you come from, Bruno? Yes, but I've never seen one as large as this in Japan. Oh, well, this must be a treat. Well, this will be a treat. Shall we have a listen? What do you think? Isn't it a pretty sound? It's a beautiful sound, yes, but it's a little hard to enjoy when all the policemen in the room are giving you fierce looks. And never mind that. If any of them say anything, I'll tell Gregsy to have a word. Iris Wilson, Superintendent of Scotland Yard. The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the Yard are to examine every article of the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article? But that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all in shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure. And even then we'll barely have scratched the surface. A crime and a pawnbroker's. Must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know, a crime and a pawnbroker's. That's what he just said. Oh, the gun's gone. There's an article ledger here, and the Mr. Windybank's notes and... What's this? It looks like as though someone has left a little photographic print behind. Oh, look on the back. There's some writing. Is there? Oh, show us, Susie, show us. I can't read that. 15th of February, 10:30 p.m. Article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat. Right. What does this even say? That's a T. That's a P. That looks like it says U-I-L-I. Is that Julie? Something with a T in it. Julie. Loan amount paid, £1. Redemption deadline, 15th of April, 10:30 p.m. gentleman's overcoat pawned for £1? Clearly it was a very fine coat. In fact, I think... Yes, this must be the ticket for the overcoat that Ginny redeemed yesterday. And is still wearing, which belonged to McGilded. I would never have expected the redemption ticket to be a handwritten on the back of a photograph, though. It seems Mr. Windybank just used whatever piece of paper he happened to have at hand. He was too busy. But this photograph of a cat, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? I'm sure I've seen this exact same picture somewhere else recently. Oh, yes, you're right. Very recently. It's the same one as the Ginny gave us earlier. Of course. I was forgetting that she gave us that print. Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Naruto? Get it out. All right. Let the cogs turn. Yes, they're exactly the same. Well, actually, the one on the right is at a slightly different angle because the cat's more facing forward, whereas the other one's more facing left. This is like a spot the difference kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything. Literally, the only thing that's slightly different is the angle in this one. Well, if one of the counter was used to his redemption ticket, perhaps the other photograph that Jenna gave us has something written on the back too. I've got it. These two photographs hide an amazing secret. A secret? What does she mean? You must tell us, Iris, at once. Do you really want to know? Yes, we need you to tell us all we know about this pair of photographs. Oh, okay. First, I'll look at this other photo because I know I can look at them. Whoa! Look on the back of this print here. There's something written on it. 13th of February, 9 p.m. Article deposited, 1 small box. Loan amount paid, 10 shillings. Redemption deadline, 20th of April, 9 p.m. 10 shillings? So this photographic print is a redemption ticket? For an article that was deposited 2 days prior to the incident of the omnibus, it would seem. Yes, a small box. It doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Perhaps it contains some valuable mementos? I can't help wondering. Presumably Mr. McGilded never redeemed the article in question since he still had the ticket. So isn't it possible that the box is still present somewhere in the shop? But yes! If it's something Mr. McGilded deposited, we need to investigate. White photograph, updated. To now called the pawnbroker's ticket box. No, I examined. I wanted to talk because apparently she wants to. What do you want? So, Iris, about these two photographic prints. The one we found here on Mr. Windybank's counter and the one Gina gave us before. What is this amazing secret you mentioned that's hidden between these two identical prints? Actually, that's not quite right. Sorry? If you look carefully, the two prints aren't the same. Not exactly. They're not? Have another look at them now. Can you see that they're just slightly different from each other? That's what I noticed. That was the first thing I noticed. I think so. It's very subtle, though. But what's the reason for the subtle differences between the two prints? Ah, well, it's because they're a set, you see. No, I don't. This pair of photographs is meant to be used in a stereoscope. Everyone in London is raving about them at the moment. Stereoscope. Why do I feel as though I've heard that word before recently? Oh, yes! That's what Mr. Shome showed us yesterday. You see? There it is, just over there. Yes, of course. That magical machine that makes pictures look almost real enough to touch. Well, actually, It's quite possible to see the same depth in pictures even without one of those contraptions. What? Really? Just cross your eyes. Do you know how a pair of flat photographic prints can appear to have any depth in the first place? No, I have no idea. Oh, wonderful. Then I'll be able to tell you. She's over the moon, bless her. Should we let her explain, though? We need to carry on investigating the scene. I, for one, simply have to know. Okay. Have you ever considered, Bruno? Or have you ever considered, Bruno, how our eyes see depth in the world around us? Well, I just open them, and it works. But the reason it works is because we have two eyes. Two eyes? Shocking. If you try closing just one eye at a time, I think you'll see straight away that what you see with your left and what you see with your right eye, did they actually do alternate pictures for that? I mean, I went by it so quickly, I didn't really pay attention, but then when I looked at the side, I was like, wait a minute, is that covering it more? Ever so slightly different. You get a different view with each eye. Yes, the position of objects seems to shift slightly. Exactly. And in your head, your brain uses that shift to estimate depth as it merges the two views into one. And that's how we can sense depth in everything we see. My brain is really amazing, isn't it? It doesn't so much without telling me. I think I see. So the pair of photographs consists of a left eye view and a right eye view. Is that right? Oh, well done, Susie. You're so quick. So, if you could persuade your brain to merge the two pictures together in your head, you'd be able to see depth in these prints? Yes, Bruno, you're beginning to understand. And a stereoscope's function is to access your brain and allow you to do just that. Yes, but as long as you have two images, two eyes and one brain, you can actually do it yourself without needing a stereoscope at all. You can? Really? Alright then. Let's try it. Let's see if you can view this pair of prints without the help of a stereoscope. Oh yes, I'm dying to have a go. Zato-san really loves this kind of thing. But you need to be able to cross your eyes. That's the main thing. Can you do both? Can you both do that? Cross my eyes? I think I can. It's not exactly a difficult thing to do. Just look towards your nose. Watch me and see if you can copy. Make your eyes do this. Alright, let me try. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Okay, I was not expecting them to do it. There, how's that? Oh, wonderful. Now it's your turn, Bruno. The trick is to concentrate on looking at the bridge of your nose with both eyes at the same time. Not exactly an easy task when two people are staring at you cross-eyed. Alright, that's enough practice. Now let's try looking at the prints. Start by staring at one print and slowly crossing your eyes. Oh. You should see two overlapping images like this. You try it now, Runo. You try it now, Runo. I'm just gonna have to give it a try, I suppose. Did the print split into two images for you? Oh, I actually had to do it? Okay, I thought the game was gonna do it for me. Okay, well, I mean, I'll remember to do that next time. Did the print split into two images for you? Now, the next step is to put the pair of prints side by side like this, and then try crossing your eyes again. Oh. It's so weird. It's getting me to do this. Oh. This does not help. Actually, oh. There. It's worked better on 3DS. I bet it did. Especially for me when my screen is so much bigger. The prints should slide together until they form a new single image in the center. Just to recap, just in case. Yeah, the print should very close together. I was right on that. Oh, yes! Mr. Nahodo, it works! I can see it in the middle now. It looks so real. I could look at it all day. I wouldn't advise that. Your eyes might start to hurt. Your turn, Runo. Please don't make me do it, because it's actually really hard. Because I've got it on a big screen, if I try to do it, it doesn't work. And so I try harder, but then it starts to, like, hurt. And I'm like, ugh. I say hurt, but, you know. Pretend that you're looking through the two pictures and slowly cross your eyes. Keep adjusting the position of your eyes until the two images overlap exactly in the middle. Like, this is it. There, you managed it. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. They really should have just animated that, like they did for the previous one, where they showed her doing it, because it would have been better. And I wouldn't have to do it myself, which is impossible. So now you know how stereoscopic images work. Oh, well, I don't know who discovered it, but it is really quite extraordinary. So, what do you think of these stereoscopic prints then, Runo? They're certainly amazing, but it isn't easy to get the knack of viewing them properly. No, some people find it easier than others. But that's why this contraptions like this exist, for people who find it tricky. Oh, I recognize that. We saw one over there yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, this one. Whee! If I remember correctly, you press this little knob here, and then set the pair of photographs in the stand in the back end. Hey, it's still amazing, even though I don't know roughly how it works now. Well, London seems to have to agree with you. Stereoscopes are very popular at the moment. You can find one of these folding contraptions in a lot of households in the capital currently. But if these little machines are so affordable, surely there's no need to go around staring cross-eyed at pictures like you hate them. Oh, but it's much more satisfying to be able to see the effect with your own eyes. Well, I think so in any case. Stereoscopic pictures. Never even heard of them until yesterday. Certainly learned a lot about them. I wonder if it's knowledge that I'll ever actually need. Probably, since it came up. Do I have to examine it to find the stuff on the back again, or what? And a thumbprint on it, that's bloody. Look, this dark red smear here appears to have been made by somebody's finger. Do you think it could be blood? Do you see any red marks as blood, Iris? That's a bit morbid, I think. But it's almost certainly blood, isn't it? Just 10-year-olds today. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday. Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilded by 2 months earlier. Article deposited one gentleman's overcoat. And the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of the coat. Yes, or a small box, deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident. Would that have anything to do with all this? Alright, well. Hey, Swordmaster! Hello, welcome! That ledger that opened on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? Must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all those hundreds of items in pawn. It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me. But clearly Mr. Winterbank is very careful when it came to the articles in his care. I guess we're just not going to notice that the glass is broken. Next side. That is a string contraption that lets you see pictures of things if they were right in front of your eyes. Makes you think. Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday. We were blissfully unaware that any of this was about to happen. Just like most people. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here. Shh! Keep it down! Oh, sorry. There's a major clue just here. Really? Then we must tell Gregsy at once. But as soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over my shift. You really have a tough time, the British police. That doesn't stop us from investigating, though, does it? No, I suppose not. I'm fairly sure it was the calendar he was peering at. Look here! Oh, yes, a bullet hole, and I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall. Presumably, Mr. Windybank wasn't practicing with a revolver in his spare time. Well... Mr. Sholmes is like to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that. Sorry? It's all there in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It's quite a dangerous pastime. He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once. Forget that now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet. What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? Suspicious red stain on the calendar. Aha! I may well be able to help with that. What? There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Runo? I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris. I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see? When it comes to blood, we're all different types. Yes, what a scientific observation. So you need this. Oh no, what is that scary-looking thing? Earlier and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as soon as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Uh-oh. Watch. It made the blood green! Oh, the color of the blood stain has changed. There, does it make sense now? Yes, I think I'm starting to understand. Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see? Yes, how wonderful. The chemical in fires combines with blood and makes it change colour. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. It's not exactly luminol, but definitely lets you know if it's blood or not, I guess. Better than nothing. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris. Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it's been great. So, whose blood are we looking at then? Oh well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different colour, so... Just find someone whose blood turns the same colour and you'll know who it belongs to. In a flash. So we have to make people bleed. It's more like 2 flashes really, isn't it? 1 flash or 2, this could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. So we must make a note of it in the court record. Bloodstain sample has been entered in the court record. We have a bag to put that stuff in? Okay. The sample of the blood. Analyzed, quotation marks. That was more just shot with a pellet. Special chemical indicator developed by Mr. Sholmes. Different people's blood turns different colours. So what would the different blood types be? Like, does A+ make it go blue? Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. As long as I have a reagent left, sure. Actually, there's a stain on the back of that one photograph, isn't there? I think perhaps we should see if that can tell us anything. Yes, but the bullet! green blood. It seems just wrong somehow. Oh, there are all sorts of different colours. They're pretty pinks and purples, you know. Like I said, everyone's blood is different. I wonder what colour my blood returned. Actually, I don't want to know. I'm fairly sure this contraption was here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again. Oh, yes, that's a folding stereoscope. Really? This is a stereoscope? Mr. Shum showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in this 3 dimensions. But for that, he used the great big contraption over there. Well, that's for public use, or use in public houses and places like that. Here's a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this little thing is so much simpler design for use at home. And there are special shops selling prints that can use them. I have a little collection myself. I wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. Oh, under my throat. It would beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway. What? What do you mean? What do you mean keeping your toilet clean? Are you selling that? These shelves are where the pawnbroker puts articles that have been forfeited on display for customers to buy. Yeah, it's really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example? Well, sometimes you can find some real treasure along the junk, you know? Oh, you're alright, Runo. Oh, it's just... Well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole, but when you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue. That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever. We're being brainwashed! Let me get out of here! Alright, let's have a look at the thing again, because we're about to... Do I present it to her? Do you mind if I show you this? Nope. What? Going too fast for her. Alright. Guess we'll look at this then. Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here. I have noticed. With the red smear, you mean? Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wonder if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case... Yes, we need Dyrus. We should show this to her before we forget. White cat photograph number 2 for information has been updated. So I had to update it first. Oh, that looks like blood. Is this Chris's blood? We spray it and it starts shouting, Chris! Oh, what? I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove made of leather. Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me. Whee! It became purple. It's not the blood on the wall. Look at that. Yes, that's a colour we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. Could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colours correspond to at some point. Well, this particular stain of blood... Oh, you have an idea, haven't you? Do you know whose blood this is? Maybe. I think I do. Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the colour it turned, but with a little deduction. I think that's right. I think it's clear. Well, that's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You first, Runo. Who do you think it belongs to? Alright. I believe that this blood of... This is the blood of... Trifice Mason. Magnus McGilded, Gino Lestrade, Trifice Mason, Pop Winterback. Pop Winterback. You think somehow it could be Mr. Winterback's blood? Well, he would have been the last person to have handled the ticket. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. But Mr. Winterback had no injuries before he was shot, that is. We're trying to figure out who the blood came from, so we can rule out anyone who hadn't been bleeding straight away. Yes, of course. Perhaps it's not a concept you can really grasp unless you've played out before yourself. Well, I was leading more to assume that he'd been shot, and then they searched the body while he was bleeding, and then they picked up the paper. Funnily enough, I have accidentally cut myself before, but thanks for the mildly threatening advice, Iris. I'll have to think this through some more. Who do we know was bleeding at the time? Well, Gina wasn't bleeding, so... Thrice-fired Mason. Thrice-fired Mason? You don't sound very sure of yourself, the way you trailed off there. Well, it was 2 months ago now in that case. And of course I've never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice-fired, though. The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on the ticket 2 months ago. Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket with her to Winterbanks yesterday. Any news on future games? Not yet. They're saying that there's possibly a new game in the works, but whether that's going to be anytime soon... I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at the time. So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night. No, I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I like that I'm able to just immediately get into his accent now. Like, I usually have difficulty doing an accent, but I'm just able to like easily slip in as soon as it comes up. Probably because it comes up often. I was about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time, anywhere on his body. That's not you saying that, Susanna, that's me. Sorry. From which we conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason. Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. Yeah! That's neither a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah! Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope. Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well. Let's make a note of this. Details of the pawnbroker's ticket for the coat have been updated. Redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery, owned by the victim. The blood on it has been identified. We didn't identify it. We had a theory that it might be his. Doesn't mean that it is his. Blood sample portfolio has been updated in the court record. I think we're done here. I can look at the door, so let's do that. Great Ace Attorney 2 is by far the best. He has no. He has no what? I think if a British accent is required, you find it a bit easier. I would think so, or I would hope so. I am British. Granted, I don't know if I even have an accent, so... Yeah. Nothing has really changed since the trilogy. He references her in the second trilogy. Oh, okay. Behind that door is the storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy says. Or said. Yes, and that's where I saw the dreadful scene last night. Through the little window in the door. Whee! He's dead with a one-cylinder bullet hole to the chest, which would mean that he had a long shot. Mr. Winterbank face down on the floor with Gina beside him. As the accused's legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course. And we will. Behind that door. That's the real scene of the crime. Don't worry. If there's a clues in there, I'll find them. Well, I'll find them all. Just let me do the work. Okay, child. Let us go inside. New location. We could linger here a little longer, I think. The storeroom where pawned items are kept until the redeemed or forfeited. It's also where Mr. Wenderbank's body was discovered, and he was forfeited. I definitely have an accent. Okay, I believe you. Swordmaster asked about Mia and Phoenix. Did he? I didn't see it. If you meant Maya, then she does appear in Spirit of Justice after being mentioned in Dual Destinies. Yes! That's a big outline. They used chalk, I just noticed. Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Winterbank's life was taken in this very room only last night. Oh! And he just immediately leaves. Wait, Inspector! What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think Scotland Yard Inspector wouldn't run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Well... I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me. You were running away from a 10-year-old. I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector. Eh? And then he becomes Commissioner Gordon in this scene, I guess. Puts a jacket on her. Don't worry, the criminal will be caught. And then she becomes like, she goes, takes a gun to the court to try and shoot the guy, but he gets killed by a secret boss, and then she becomes Batman? Or Batwoman? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? Oh my god, Grogson. I would have preferred if you were more like Commissioner Gordon in this moment. That was abysmal. I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine. I told you not to get under my feet. And we have investigating to do ourselves. Yes. I'd like to hear more of what that socially inept inspector has to say. Oh, Hurley. And inquire into how Mr. Shelm's operation is going. Alright, let's converse. Iris's Batman would be horrifying. I mean, she's making all of her own gadgets, so she ends up making a grapple hook. I said a battle hook. Some batarangs, all that kind of stuff. She actually would fit pretty well, actually. She's not like a millionaire or anything, but if she could make stuff with scrap, she's like a mix of Iron Man and Batman, but without the money. Alright, Swordmaster, thanks for dropping by. See you again later. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw, you've got eyes, haven't you? Use them. It is what it looks like. Nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand? So, Gregsy, what do you make of this crime scene here? Oh, yes, your ladyship. Allow me to humbly explain. Last night, shortly at the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended to the scene. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. The lock appears to be broken now, though. What's the police officers doing? Oh, quite right, Ram. Quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible. Oh. As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor. Thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child. Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector. Mr. Strahd, the hapless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. And I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand. No. Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pockets, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom? And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector? Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend. In something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Why did he say it like he's from CSI Miami? And it looks like she was in a sticky situation. Yeah! Bear. Obviously, my personal opinion is that's all some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector. Of course it is. Trixie, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he? The thing is, Don't mince your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is... No, the operation done and dusted. It's just that, well, out with it. Yes, ma'am. He's actually going to start respecting her in the end. It's like, I'm going to throw you if you don't speak immediately. They use something called general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. It is the whole body insensitive. The whole body? Anesthetized? Is that even possible? I don't think they had the gas invented yet. Or injection. So they would have to be one of those, the rubbing kind. Although they would have to have injection ones, I suppose. I'd have to look it up. This is Victorian times. When was anesthesia and used? Modern medicine would not be possible without anesthesia. October 16th, 1846. Which I think is around this time. So... how was anesthesia used in the 1800s? Ah, there we go. In the early days of general anesthesia, surgeons such as Joseph Lister continued to use the sulfuric sponge method by inhaling anesthetic, but by put a cloth with a few drops of ether or chloroform over the patient's mouth and nose. Okay, so it was like an inhaler kind of thing. Or inhaling. Okay. It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep. Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can't just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction. Well, the trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Yeah, overdosing on anesthesia is not a good thing. Oh my. No one knows if the anesthetic is still in his system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again. Early. The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you. What a surprise. When it matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. It's not his fault. You don't have to be mean about it. I don't think I should show him anything because he'll probably take it away from me. Let's examine. Blood first. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line. Oh, Mr. Winterbank. He was a nice old man. Well, he was shot just once, through the heart. Shot through the heart, and now you're dead. Most likely, the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood, then. I don't like to ask such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Oh, don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action. Blue! So, now we know the colour of this chemical turns when it reacts to Mr. Winterbank's blood. Doesn't it match our analysis on the bloodstain we found in the main shop? I did the wrong voice. No, but let's add the sample to the others we've already collected anyway. I wonder if these blood samples are going to come relevant as we go along. But I like this. I like being like comparing like blood samples and be like, wait a minute, the blood from this matches the blood from this, or the fingerprints from this match this, and we can confer and take the blood samples from the other people and find out. Iris, don't worry, I'm all right. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely. Ah, Major. This is a revolver, a real one. And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Winterbank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Winterbank with this yesterday, didn't we? See if you still have... You can check the desk if you still have it. I don't have it. Like at all. And you can see I don't have it. Hold on, can I actually read this? I do. I was going to be a thing where it's like, oh, what happens if she's misspelt my name and then I have to find someone that has that name and I can't represent her? But anyway, we saw Mr. Winterbank with this yesterday, didn't we? I shall have to take my own life! It must be the same gun. And last night, and when I looked through the window, the spy hole in the door of the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand. Mr. Winterbank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in it, in the gun, had been fired. So we can be fairly certain that the only single shot was fired from this revolver. Only a single shot. A bike. Moody? Is that like film reel canisters? Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them. I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look. Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much we can do about that, Sunshine. Why is this single, like, ink well and pen so detailed? It's in the background. Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only one thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. What is it, Iris? That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh! Irish's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this... Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. It was there. Iris' story was there. Really, it was. Well, that's good news then, isn't it, Iris? Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley would when he said he'd deposit it here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it. Really? Because that's not a very well-hidden frown. Harris's manuscript is entered into court record. A long unpublished story that Mr. Sholmes deposited at the pawnbrokery of the victim, Mr. Winneback. It's entitled The Hound of the Baskervilles. Why does that seem important? The Hound of the Baskervilles. How did Susanna know the exact title of the unpublished story? I suppose I'll just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me when she comes back from her father's illness. I'm so sorry. Let's see. There's no... like... marks on this that seems to be important. I do wonder, though... why is it all just loose papers? Usually when you do manuscripts, you put it in something to keep it together. Having it loose like this in a chest seems kind of dangerous. A gramophone. Is that everything in this room? It's not much. Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest? Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles. A most fascinating tale, your ladyship. Fascinating, and I don't suppose. Would there be any mention of my humble self in this tale this time? Good question. I can't really remember. I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just wait its publication with eager anticipation. You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable. You're looking to be arrested, Sunshine. I didn't mean it like that. And even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? So... Winterbank's main shop, colour green. Crest-fired mason, colour purple. Winterbank, hop, blue. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to come out of that. Can I share this with you? Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about these, do you think? We don't tend to share, Sunshine, not with the general public. Ugh. If that's the case, Regsy, how about some herbal tea? You just have to think, is this tea still hot? Like, is he just drinking scalding hot tea like this? Oh, lovely. Ah, very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. you don't mind sharing that then. Look at this. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing. All right. Speed through his tea drinking. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything else I can really look at here, so I guess move. This place feels different to normal today for some reason. Okay, well, I'm going to go outside then. Oh, that might be why, because there's a guy with a very pixelated horse at the front. Look how low poly it is. There's a Scotland Yard carriage outside Winterbanks. I never imagined we'd be investigating a case so close to home. Poor Iris. She's very upset by all of this. I'm sorry. I was there. I should have done more. And none of this is your fault, Bruno. So please don't apologize. But it's the criminals who are to blame for all this. So let's investigate and work out how to catch them. I just remembered. Why aren't we checking the security system with the camera? Let me go check back in there a second when I finish looking out here. I just somehow managed to find a handprint somewhere, blood. It's already been 2 months that we've been taking lodgings here above Mr. Shum's office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this. When Hurley comes back home, let's have a big party. It's a great idea. I'm sure it won't be long. Mr. Shum's is very tough. And then he died, because you said that. Yes. Okay, back into the thing. As I did not look. Alright. Wasn't there a camera up here? Did I not notice that there doesn't seem to be a camera anymore? Okay then, I guess there was no point. Alright, let's go. Baker Street, Legal Consultancy. Sholmes' suite. What is it? Maybe Gina has something more to say? We can ask her about why she was carrying the gun or what she remembers. 16th of April. Local prison. Cell 13. Gina doesn't appear to be here. I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute. What is it, Iris? Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? The genie could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped. Oh my! Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse. Exactly. She would do it because it would make her situation worse. She wants to get away. She doesn't care about making things worse. She just wants to go. Calm down, Bruno. I was only joking, of course. Oh. You had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction. Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight of your words carry. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose the light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms. Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would have just thrown his head back and guffawed. I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, anyway, looks like we won't be able to talk to Janie for a while. We should try making progress in our investigation in the meantime. Yes, come along then, Bruno. Come along, Susie. It looks like a letter over here. Why would they leave the candle on when there's no one inside? I guess we'll go to the hospital? Nope. Guess we're not going to the hospital. Unless it's one of those things where it's like, actually, Holmes is on the other side. No. Chief Justice Office? No, he's not even here. I guess storeroom is still the only place I can look. Let me go over this with a fine-tooth comb. Look at the gun. Well, there's nothing really more to talk to him about. Maybe we present this to you? Oh, my manuscript. Mr. Shaw said he deposited it at Windybanks, and he had. But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why wouldn't Hurley say I can't publish it? I'm afraid I'd have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose. Oh, maybe it's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines? Yes, maybe? I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. He's the main focus. I doubt he wouldn't have enough things to say in it. Probably because it's based on a real thing. The way you can identify differences in people's blood like this is amazing. You really are a genius, Iris. I know. I am. If Hurley and I put our minds to it, we could really shake up Britain's chemists and alchemists. And you could shake up Japan's lawyers and judges, couldn't you, Naruhodo? Oh, for sure. Even if I didn't intend to. Examine every inch of this place. I tried clicking on this, it wouldn't let me. That. Okay. I guess we could go to the consultancy, but I don't know why. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, how about some tea, Runo? Thanks, Iris, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susanna makes for me from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusions. The place is a paradise for a true tea lover. If you're sure, you know I always have plenty whenever you're feeling thirsty. So this is the tea set that Mr. Zato brought up with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Susie's lovely green tea has a quite unique impact on Hurley, you know. He stopped putting milk and sugar in his toffee even. And Hurley is normally bitterly opposed to bitterness. That spade has been here since we started renting the place. Bruno, that's not a spade, it's a shovel. You're a shoveler, aren't you? I had a feeling you picked me up on that. Oh, no. A pick is something else entirely. Now I've dug myself into an even deeper hole. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. Hurley's desk is far worse, you know. I'm sure if I try hard enough, I can make my desk as messy, Mr. Sholmes. Huh. I wonder. You don't think I can? Well, it takes a certain genius to reach that level of disorder, you know. Huh. The path to true mess is long and arduous, it seems. Ah, the Daruma doll I bought with me from home. Still only with one eye coloured in. I said I'd colour the other eye one day when I won my first court case in Britain, but... That's cruel, only letting it have one eye. Yes, but it's because I don't consider myself a good lawyer yet, you see? Once I become a fully fledged lawyer, Mrs. Sada will colour in the other eye for me. I let her do the work. Well, in that case, why not colour the other eye now? And then every time you win a new case, give it an extra eye. You can never have too many eyes, you know. Yes, you can. Otherwise, you turn into like a freaking... an angelic being. You'd be like, do not be not afraid. Call me crazy, but I never considered that. Something new about this? Oh, this looks like a telegram. It is, but you mustn't open it. Not under any circumstances. Alright, I won't. And now then, let's see. No, what did I just say? You mustn't open it. Don't worry, I won't. With this special concoction I've developed, I'll be able to see through the envelope without having to open it. No, that's not allowed either. Oh, but I'm sure it's something important. Little geniuses sure can be mischievous. Imagine if she just did that before I said anything. I'd be like, no! You've ruined the plot! You know, I've never seen inside Mrs. Zada's room. I haven't so much as put my head around the door. Oh, Susie often invites me up. It's so much fun. Really? What's her room like? I can't tell you that. Oh. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. It's a bedroom. If the door is open and you allow people in, they can come in. Doesn't matter if it's a boys' or girls' room. Of course, if you're busy, then yeah, don't come in. Where have I heard that before? I suppose some things are the same the world over. We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in here are doing rather well, and the anemones too. Anemones, I nearly said. Apparently, the tanks like these were very popular in London before I was born. Oh, you mean they're not anymore? I think people discovered it was too much effort to clean them out and change the water all the time. I can believe that. Prawns and anemones are fun, but for a while. Garlic. Alright, let's leave. Just to be sure, we're going to head to the show suite. What, is everything just re-highlightable now? Fire's burning comfortably in the grate again today. A very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Freddy's been working on his disguises recently. He's been dressing as a woman, mainly. Really? Mr. Sholmes dresses in women's clothes? Yes, you see the lady in that photographic print on the mantelpiece. That's Hurley. He's quite stunning. Ryunosuke suddenly questions his attractions. It's an unusual way to make use of a huge metal chest as a table for tea and coffee. It's a very sturdy box. I've noticed that it's always locked. Well, that's because... Dax's box contains some of my most important things, which you have no intention of telling me more about, judging from that guarded smile. There's really all sorts of things on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help feeling the whole lot is going to topple over at any moment. Yes, Hurley does tend to overload the shelves. You never got that dialogue? Yes! New things for people to see! That's one way of putting it. He wanted to look something up in one of those books the other day, you know. But it was so tightly crammed in, he gave up and went out to buy a brand new copy instead. Right? There are all mementos of Mr. Sholmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beefsteak from the La Carnival would be on display here. Hurley says that Waggy is a memento too. What? How? He tried really hard to get the little fellow to stay on those shelves at first. Oh my god, telling a cat to stay in one place forever is going to be impossible. But he had to give up in the end. Waggy just wouldn't keep still. Yes, funny that. The violin! Now, this is really Mr. Shelton's faithful performing partner then. The Stradivar, the Strapiscar, the Scrapifarius? No, it's no good, it's gone. The virtuoso's violin that he found in the pawnbrokers and managed to buy for the next to nothing. I hope Hurley gets well soon. I miss hearing his violin playing already. Oh, Iris. I'm sure he will. Ah, yes, the letters V and R inscribed in the wall in bullet holes. I always thought the woman was a red herring. Ha! It turns out it's just Holmes. It's Holmes. Whatever. Isn't it the initials of the Queen or something? But that's right, but Hurley isn't a very good shot, sadly. I can't remember how many times he had to replaster that patch of wall before he managed to make the letters. Is he a patriot or a plasterer? He's an everyman. He does everything. Look at Mr. Shum's desk. It's completely clear. Looks totally different without that enormous machine on it. Hurley lives in an absolute mess all the time. He never notices when things go missing. Even Mr. Sholmes must have noticed that huge lump of metal is no longer there, surely. Also, wouldn't his big machine be at the pawnbrokers? Because he said he gave that away, or he had to pawn it. So should it be there? Or is it a different one? Sholmes returns without the ability to play. Oh, I'd be sad. I'd be actually sad. The beautiful tea set is here on the table as usual. A cup of one of your special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain. Poor Hurley. He hasn't had a drop of tea today. I wish I could take some to the hospital for him. This is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? Let's see. What does it say today? The Boscon Valley Mystery. Well, we visited Boscon Valley recently for a picnic, you see, but I forgot to bring the tea. So when Hurley became thirsty, he decided to drink from Boscon Pool. He gave himself an awful tummy ache. The idiot! You don't just drink from pools! Oh dear. You could die from that. You take in a parasite, starts eating you from the outside, and then you become a parasite's host. And you're no longer you. That's an extreme version. That doesn't actually happen, but yeah. Hurley sat there miserably, so as you can be that field of flowers just after that. Bleh. But just like when you saw him yesterday. That really is an unsavory tale. That's a charming little white shelf and full of charming little bottles too. But the contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. I'm so close now, I've nearly developed a rainbow smoke grenade, you know? So you're still working on those colourful but fumey explosives, are you? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what! When I've perfected it, I'll fire the first shot at you, Runo. What an honour. Should have just kept your mouth shut, boy. Come to think of it, I haven't seen you doing much writing recently, Iris. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter, I notice, as if you're about to start. I'm a little bit stuck for a new story idea, actually. Well, you could consider using what happened at Mr. Natsume, perhaps? Ooh, yes. That's a fabulous idea. A great title has just popped into my head as well. We just invented her next book for her. The Adventures of the Catty Man. How's that, Runo? Right, I think we're done. Okay, well, the only other place to check is to keep going back to the storeroom to be sure that we've seen everything. Because the thing is, I went through here, I looked at everything, everything is ticked. If I had to double check it, that would be weird, because usually when you double check something, it doesn't have the tick anymore. Or still. It's still like the normal one. Out of all the articles, blah blah blah, box file, Baskervilles. I can skip through this, which means it's the same scene. Blah. This is all the same. Revolver reaction is still the same. thought the reactions would be slightly different if we've already examined it. The fact that they're just like the same is kind of weird. Because usually when you examine something and it's done, it says, oh yeah, this is the thing that was found, but they don't replay the whole scene again. They play a new thing, but it's very brief to just say what they discovered from it. Recheck my evidence. Skippy-dippy-doo-dah. Mr. Winnick appears to have used the back of this photograph to write our redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had on hand. It's funny that once we look at it, it suddenly becomes typed, where before it was handwritten. It's hard to know what the front and what's the reverse side now. Like here, you look at this, it doesn't look anything like what was typed out when you looked at it. Like that looks like it looked like a bunch of gibberish, and then it says Julie, and it says date deposited, article deposited, loan amount paid, and then redemption deadline. You can read that, but this is a bunch of squiggles. But when you click it, it suddenly becomes legible. Kind of funny. Redemption ticket, but that does not look like that's what's put here. This is an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought that cats like to curl up inside under the heated kotatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different. Actually, now that we have both pictures, I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So, I need to cross my eyes and try to get the two cats to merge in the middle as one. It's such a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this in the first place must have spent a long time staring. Alright, well, there's nothing evidence in that. Double check this. So this smears blood. Yes, it reacted to the chemicals fired out of Iris's strange gun, so it must be. And it does look as though the thumbprint on it from a hand of a leather glove. Ah. Mr. Sholmes wears leather gloves, doesn't he? He wears fingerless leather gloves, though. Fingerless. Oh dear. Is something a little upset? Or someone? How dare you accuse Holmes? Or Sholmes? Winamax redemption ticket. One gentleman's overcoat. Please have used the back of the photograph to write redemption ticket. Written very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had to hand. It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse now. And then I assume the front's going to be the same as the other one. This is the second of the two photographic prints of the cat, and it really does look like Wagahai. Looks exactly the same as the first photograph at first glance. I suppose that's what's so compelling. Actually, now that we have both pictures, I could have another go at viewing them as a stereoscopic image. So, I need to just cross my eyes and get the two cats to merge in the middle as one. It's such a hard thing to do. Whoever thought of this in the first place must have spent a long time staring. Are you supposed to do that with, like, the other side, too? We're supposed to cross-eye on the words? Okay. You can almost read the text here. Skip, skip, skip. There's nothing on the paper. Nothing on this side. Nothing I can see on the pages on that side. I thought I saw something then, but I think that was just my eyes playing tricks on me. Yeah, there's nothing here. Which, again, you'd think would be odd. Because usually they would have something. The fact that there's nothing, you can only look at the name, is a little weird. Blue, purple, green. at this point, I'm just kind of stuck. There's nothing else to look at. Like, I've looked at this, and I can't click anything. I can only go from one page to the next. There's nothing else in here. There's no blood. There's no other pieces of evidence. Show him the ticket. I showed him everything in my bag. I literally went through it all. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't show him this one. This one piece of evidence. Okay. Inspector, what do you make of this? Ah, what have we here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote the sticker on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket for Mr. McGilda's overcoat. The one that the little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Really? You think you know better than me, do you? No, I didn't mean to, Bruno's right, Gregsy. It isn't the same ticket. Of course it isn't, of course it isn't! I know it out you, your ladyship. So, what's all this about, then, if I might be so bold as to ask? This is a second ticket. Second one. It seems that Mr. McGilda, in fact, had another article in storage here at Mr. Winterbank's. Is that right? I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo. It's annoying, because I know exactly what happened. I started from the end of my freaking list of items. I started here, and then I made my way this way. And then I was like, okay, so he's just going to react to everything. So I stopped here. I didn't present anything else, because I assumed I had already presented this and this to him before. But I didn't, I guess. So then I was like going around trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. But I was supposed to present this the whole time. Oh my god. Oh good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. But this ticket was one of the pockets of Mr. McGilda's overcoat. You mean to tell me? Yes, there's more like just the music box disc, it seems. Oh, I should have insisted. Oh, bugger, I broke my string. Great. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly. Well, according to the details on this ticket, and there goes the other one. 1 second. Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilda deposited another article here with Mr. Winterbank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it? Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilda. It could be an important clue. Oh, well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. This is no time for a dog impression, Inspector. That's enough froth from you, Sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it? Oh, yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be here, then? That's right. It's been forfeited. Which means it would be on the shelves in the front of the shop, where the forfeited items are offered for sale. Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time. Oh. There are dozens of little boxes out there. Hundreds, even. We can't possibly know which one might have been McGilda's. The information's not written in the ledger. Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case. Oh, of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old. Oh! It's cuckoo clocks! Ah! Oh, it literally did what I did. I'll keep that as what she says. I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Winterbeck have set up such a wicked trap? I doubt he set out to scare anyone. Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon. Oh! Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you would be defending her. She gave me representation papers, so I assumed I am. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Runo? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be her lawyer. Really? Did I say that? Yes, you did. But the deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching. In that case, we better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. No, I want to look for this box! Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got their own price labels on them, but there are so many. I wonder if this small box the ticket was for was still in the shelf somewhere. The box that Mr. McGill deposited here just over 2 months ago. Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. But there are so many boxes. It could be any one of them. Mr. Shelm said that the pawnbroker's was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Mr. McGill contains something of very great value. Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked. So then, we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open. Yeah! That's the sort of misconduct to get you arrested. I wanted that to happen. This takes me back. It's been some time since Zada-san threw me last. With my keen senses, I will find the box. It is the one particularly behind this man here. Or this one that's more fancy than the other ones. Or this one. Or these. Or that. This really tiny one. All of these boxes are now mine. Okay, let's go speak to Gina. Listen. 16th of April, 5:41 p.m. Local prison. Cell 13. Hi again. Gina, good. You're back. The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Eh? It didn't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Winterbanks. Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying. That's that I did it. But that's not... Gina, we came to ask for your final decision. Eh? What decision? About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you, or not? I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Alright, Gina, let us converse once more. Let's have this repeat discussion again, and we have to persuade you to let us represent you again. Oh, all right then. Blimey, give it a rest with them eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we've managed to establish. Oh, yeah? Like what? Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know why you broke into Winterbank's that night. It looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason. And thrust it in Gina's face. Or could I present it to her calmly, I suppose? No, make her eat it! Make her see the truth! We already have the representation papers and other documents we need. All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. I'm doing the wrong voice, but yes. That is if you will allow me to represent you in court tomorrow. Nah, don't bother. Ginny, rip them up and chuck them, would ya? Them representation papers or whatever you called. This still ain't fancy enough to have a bin. So, what we do in court tomorrow? I'll be fine on my own. I don't think you will be. Well, look, it don't matter. What's going to happen is going to happen. This is one stubborn pick. I thought I was going to say something else. I was going to say, this is one stubborn prick. It says pickpocket. Alright, let us present everything to you from the beginning. Would you have a look at that? That's strange. Where's my armband gone? What's the problem? Something wrong? Don't suppose you're looking for this? Yes, but how? And when? And how again? I've got a talent for it, haven't I? Diving. That's bordering on black magic. And it makes what I was about to say, my armband, seem a little dull. So, what do you want to tell me about it, then? Here, Gina, look at this. No, Ta. Oh, no, Ta. I wasn't saying you could have it. Oh, weren't you? Why is she, like, sped up? Well, when someone says I can't have stuff, it makes me want it, see? So you better hand it over now. No, I ain't giving it to you. Gina, I'd like to thank you for signing these papers. If you want to thank me, you can do it once you've dumped me through off the hook. Alright, then. Wait, what? Shouldn't you be thanking me, then? You know what, Mr. Nara-Odo? It ain't good manners to expect thanks if you do someone a favor. I know that! She's as tricky with words as she is with her fingers. Do you see this poor broker's ticket, Gina? It's the one you took to Winterbanks, isn't it? The one for that black overcoat that you're wearing now. Eh? What? That? I don't know. They all look the same to me, those tickets. Surely not. Well, this one has a very obvious mark on it that would appear to be blood. Eh? Does that ring any bells? I don't know, it all looks the same to me, blood. And they all sound the same to me, these answers. Suspicious. Here, Gina, look at this. No, Tar, don't take it. It's my blood. I'm eating it later. We found this in Mr. Winterbank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story. Oh, right. Well, that's good then. Seriously, or curiously, the storeroom of Mr. Winterbank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that closed... What? The box file that housed the manuscript. What the hell's a box file? It was you, wasn't it, Gina? Who broke open the box containing the manuscript last night? Eh? You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's what the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Her hat's just covered on her face. Why don't you tell us what happened, please? Yay! Alright, yeah. This Baskerville story. It's the latest Shum's adventure, right? But it ain't been imprinted yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least £5,000. What? So, you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you? No. Ginny, how could you? What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I wasn't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript or whatever you call it is really what was there or not. That's the only reason why I went in the place. Iris' sake. Isn't that right? You knew why you done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you said the night before. She's such a tsundere. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, all of them. You just ain't realized it yet. You have not realized. I'm telling you, that manuscript isn't at Winterbank's. You'd soon seen it if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong for me to doubt him. Kind of hurts to go that deep. Or force that kind of voice. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Oh, alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. If it weren't for it weren't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth. That's all. I wanted to know if Mr. Shones was honest. If he'd really deposited the manuscript at Winterbank's. It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got her dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyway, last night, when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy. You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner? Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ain't no chummy nonsense, do you? I hate it. I don't trust no one, alright? That's how I work, because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scopper. I hadn't noticed until now, but unmistakable, right there on both sleeves of that overcoat, is blood. Are some very suspicious red stains. What? What are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. Okay, so I guess now I shoved the blood in her face. I guess that's the same. So it's not that, it's the blood. Whee! Present the blood. Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo. You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourselves, though. So it could be the blood splattered from Mr. Winterbank when he was shot last night? But let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get the results much faster than anything else. Eh? Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm gonna shoot. Say your prayers. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Jeez. That's purple. Oh. Oh my. What the? Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Well, this is Iris saying that. The whole coat. Go. Yeah, I can't do the accent right now because I'm too wet. Of course. The black color of the fabric was mistake masking the stains. That's why we can't have seen them until now. And the blood was reacting with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes. Now let's see. Who had the purple blood? Ah, yes. It was the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago. I knew it. What are you all about? The victim? What do you mean? It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain what's going on? I'm starting to slip into a different accent there. Stop telling half a story. Oh, I guess I'm talking to you now. You can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilda's coat. But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said that this in his testimony. So I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to a poor fellow's bleeding from the stomach? Wasn't about to start worrying about the gloves now, was I? I reached out to give a man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Mr. McGilda trying to pull the victim to his feet. I knew it! He was actually the murderer. But it was too weird to not be. No. If that is what really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat. The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over Mr. McGilda's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run away from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded. He didn't get away with it, though. He died in the carriage fire. Or did he? Was the body burned beyond recognition, and Mr. McGilda is actually still alive? Ooh, we'll find out, I guess. Mr. Naruhodo, that horrible case is solved at last. And I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham of evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen? Bruno, did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilda was innocent? I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon. A weapon? Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson. You killed Kazuma-sama. Why did I say that? I was saying, you mean Kazuma-sama. You killed him? I have to try and remember his name because the way I did is, listen, Ryunosuke, we lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie. Which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have. Unwavering belief? It's been a while, so I'm doing this normal. Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there will be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gia? Oh, sounds like in this Empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on, look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you learnt your lesson now, eh? Believing in people's never worth it. Something always just stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you add it. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one. Get hurt by no one. Gina, may I ask you something? What? I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial? How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away. Are you really sure that's what you want? I bet that's what he wants them all now. Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up to the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. No. I wonder if that just ends the game. I don't trust you. Well, what choice do I really have here? I have to believe in her. Then why give me the option? Although I can hardly believe myself that I'm making this choice in spite of everything. Let's just put it down on one's life's little curiosities. I know I kind of don't want to believe it, but I guess I have to for the story. So here we go. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial. Eh? Are you half-baked? Not at all. You're not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth. Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo? And did you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs are just trip on my tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and got you all into sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it. Gina, I do understand why you chose not to put your trust in others, but I assure you, there is more to this life than you yet realize. What do you mean? The world we live in is full of people who would do very well to trust, who won't ever let you down. Eh? It's true that I'm just a student of law, and I'm certainly lacking in courtroom experience. But I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I'm completely on your side. He suddenly becomes very serious in that moment, and his voice changes. What do you expect to say that? Then it's decided. I'll take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully. Do what you like. You Eastern Law. I don't know what you are. I don't get you. Gina's taken herself off to the back of her cell. She'd never admit it, but I'd hope she's feeling relieved. That turned out all right in the end, I think. Oh, what? What? Why did it do that? Should we continue already? Whoever's hiding there, show yourself at once. Eavesdropping is a height of cowardice. Miss Susanna? Somebody's there in the shadows. I can sense it. Somebody who wasn't here before. What? Blimey, you're sharp, eh? Oh, it's you! I suppose you were using one of those mystic Japanese arts, like the art of stealth I've heard so much about. If anyone was being stealthy, it was you, Inspector. Grexy. Oh dear me, I'm most terribly sorry, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you. How long have you been listening in on our conversation? Good grief. Listening in? No. I just got word that there's some visitors here who are refusing to leave even though it was after hours. I assure you, your ladyship only just arrived. This very minute, not a moment earlier. That's all it is, nothing untoward, nothing at all. After hours? Is it that late already? So then I humbly excuse myself now, your ladyship. Ta-ta, toodaloo, cheerio. All the best, bye-bye and bye. That's a lot of farewells, and not one of them appropriate for her ladyship. Oh, but I wanted to have a chat. I'm terribly sorry, the time is pressing at the minute. Oh, I see. That's a shame. If I don't get this emergency and the Supreme Court dealt with sharpish, Lord Strongheart will, well... Emergency? Lord Strongheart? Nothing, forget I said anything. Anyway, I'm off. Strongheart's been killed! Alright, Greg, see if you have to, but let's chat soon. Delighted, charmed, can't wait. If you please, my pleasure. That's a lot of my pleasantries. Lots of pleasantries, and not one of them sounded sincere. Gregsy's so funny, he says such silly things. It's certainly entertaining to see an inspector of the police fawning over a 10-year-old girl. But anyway, I wonder what this emergency is at the Supreme Court. I must attend to the court's clerk office now before it closes. Are you going to get involved somehow which doesn't allow you to leave and then we have to save you? Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Zato. Kindly escort Iris home now, Mr. Naruhodo. I shall meet you there later. I'm certainly suspicious. The Sora investigation came to an end. We never got to speak to, Jones. Zato-san went on to file the necessary papers for my defense of Gina for the following day. And then it hit me. I could no longer suppress the wretched feeling that I had been gnawing away at my insides. Tomorrow, Zato-san would be leaving Britain and making her way back to Japan. 16th of April, 11:13 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Naruhodo-san, it's been a very trying day, hasn't it? I do hope that you're not too exhausted. What about you, Zato-san? Today has been even more trying for you, I'm sure. Mr. Jones was shot before our eyes. Gina was arrested. And all on the back of the news that her father was fallen ill, and that she must return to Japan at once. I hope your father recovers soon. Thank you for your kind words. I wonder why it is that so many thoughts rage in my head like a storm. And yet, I seem unable to find the words to express any of them. I know exactly what you mean. Anyway, I have one final task to complete as your judicial assistant. Once that is done, I shall make preparations for my departure tomorrow. One final task. Okay. What is this final task? It's just 2 months since we arrived in London, but we managed to establish this office. It's finally feeling as though we were settling in. And we've only done 3 cases. I would be lying if I said I felt no regret. I'm so sorry, Zato-san. It's just so sudden. I really don't know what to think. I've had no time to gather my thoughts. I know we've only been here a short time, but in my limited experience of the courtroom, I feel I've learned something. And what would that be? It seems to me there are many facets to people's personalities. The facets. And like a jewel, the light plays off of them in complex patterns, illuminating their actions and their motives. We see only a small number of the total facets, and what is illuminated is only part of the whole story. Mr. Naruhodo, why are you suddenly becoming all philosophical? You weren't this smart before. What lies in the shadows? What do those facets we cannot see look like? Perhaps there are some parts we'll never lay eyes on, for as long as we live. That's so true. Sometimes I feel as though I'm blind to so much. But I keep hoping that one day it will become clear. That all facets will be illuminated and I finally understand how everything fits together. Naruhodo-san, I suppose what matters is that we keep our eyes open and keep moving forward, even if the way sometimes seems dark. It's amazing to think it's been just 2 months. We've grown so much. That's a new expression. Sorry? I've what? Oh, no, it was nothing. Unimportant. Do you know what time you'll leave London in the morning? Yes, I picked up a ticket earlier. I shall be leaving at 4 a.m. 4 a.m.? Jesus, that's early! I see. Well, I'll escort you to the station. Absolutely not. Sorry? I'm sure you realize why I couldn't possibly let you do that. You have a very important day ahead of you tomorrow. Gina's trial. Yeah, I know, but every word you utter will have the potential to determine Gina's fate. You must get as much rest as possible. Even though, like me, I'm sure you'll find it hard to sleep. But please, for me, do try. You mentioned one final task a moment ago. What did you mean? Oh my, I nearly forgot. Here, please, I want you to have this. What is that? Some huge bundle of documents? It's my notes from the cases 2 months ago. Of the murder that was committed on the omnibus. The Gilded case. It seems to me that this case of Mr. Winterbank's murder, of which Gina is accused, is very much tied up with that omnibus case, in ways that are not yet completely apparent. Isn't it going to be that the whole thing, because she made this document, she's the person that ends up making it so the system adopts that thing, where they put down every case into a file, so then it's like a constant thing and kept in records? I mean, that's probably not the case, but if that is, that's a huge stretch. So I took the liberty of consolidating my writings about the case for you. With everything else she had to think about, does Zado-san still manage to do this? And all neatly laid out for me in her beautiful handwriting. It was my pleasure. I can only hope that it will bolster your case tomorrow for Gina. Thank you so much, Zado-san. I'll do my best to use it wisely. You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Sorry? I didn't quite catch what you said there. Oh, ignore me. I was just mumbling to myself. The Gilded case notes have been entered into the court record. Well, it's getting rather late. I think you should go to bed now, Mr. Naruhodo. Go to bed. Do it now, little boy. I must finish packing up my things in my room. Zado-san, I wish you the very best of luck tomorrow. Good night. Wait, there's something I need to say. Yeah. What was that? A secret technique of mine. The Susato shutdown. Shutdown? Please, I implore you. We have to voice our goodbyes. I won't be able to hold back my tears. That's the point! You let it out so you don't just let things hang. Stop dramatically turning away! It's upsetting! Susato-san. And then I blacked out. It truly had been a trying day. On our feet for hours, getting Gina to open up to us, and learning the truth about that nemesis of a case. Physically and mentally, I was exhausted. And yet the idea of sleep seemed impossible. But I forced myself to close my eyes, and as the cacophony of scenes of our lives here in London played through my mind, I eventually For eventually my fatigue triumphed and I fell into a deep sleep that I never awakened from. Juno failed in the case and was found guilty, and I never awoke again. For Susato had killed me. My neck's broken in 2 places, and she hadn't noticed until it was too late. We continue? Oh, there's more. Okay. 17th of April. For small hours. Okay. St. Sinners Hospital, Ward 3. I don't know why you would say the small hours. You could just say, like, 1 and 2 a.m. Yes, I quite understand. That is a great weight off my mind. It's Sholmes, who I really think should be wearing like a medical gown, but I guess that would require resources. Rest assured, I shall put my everything in place exactly as we've discussed. Thank you so much. Don't know who that is. It's been an honor and pleasure to be acquainted with you, Mr. Sholmes. On the contrary, the pleasure has been mine. I bid you farewell, and Godspeed. Queen Victoria. Bum, bum, bum. It ends like Metal Gear. It's like, good evening, Mr. President. Oh, my dear madam. I guess it was you then. To be continued. Oh, what a twist. Awesome. We'll get to see what that means tomorrow, or next time, I mean. Tomorrow in-game, next time for stream, which is Thursday. Finally, we're on the trial. Trial part 1. How long have we been going for? 2 hours. This is the perfect place. Alright, get me out of here. I'm not reading any of this. This is nothing here. Exit game. Don't save. Yes. Alright, and we shall pick this up on Thursday. Man, that was a lot of talking. Oh. Good job, everyone. We managed to make it through it after stumbling around trying to figure out where we were supposed to go because I didn't present the one piece of evidence I need to show, which I think has only happened a few times before. So, yay. But yeah, we'll pick this up on Thursday. We'll be continuing on, finally taking part in the trial. I wonder who's going to be on the stands this time as the jury. So, we'll find out. But yes, thank you all for joining today. We got a lot done. We investigated some things, we learned some stuff, and we were sad that Susato was leaving us. But now, we can see what happens next time. Tomorrow, I'll be back with more Dying Light. We might actually finish it tomorrow, so look forward to that. At least the main game. There may be more stuff after that, because we do still have the DLC for it to do, so we'll see. But yes, thank you all for joining today. Hope everyone enjoyed. As usual, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, do bell notifications, depending on where you're watching from, so you get notified of when I stream, depending on where you watch from. And if you want to support me, think to Patreon and tips. And if you do become a patron, you get your name added to the patron list here. I'll give you a shout out of every stream, like I do with Hiroru Kuni, the Swordmaster 37, and Raphatron 2000. I thank you for the continued support. I greatly appreciate you all. And we go around investigating stuff and then get confused about what we need to do next for a while before finally learning the truth and then going on. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow with Dying Light, or I'll see you all Thursday with more of this. So until then, you'll take care. Have a nice rest of the day. And yeah, stay safe out there. Bye, everyone. Bye, Raphatron. Thanks for joining. Bye. Bye, everyone else.